Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Rhett Dad. Boy, it has been an eventful couple of days. Uh, we After I recorded my last video, that was on a Friday. I worked Saturday, and before I even got home, the Rhett mom was calling me and was telling me that Anna had had a couple of seizures and that things were a little hectic at the moment, kind of thing. They weren't lasting a great amount of time. We were able to swipe her vagal nerve stimulator, and they were settled down a little bit, but they kept happening is the thing. Initially, they were about a minute and a half in length, and they were about every 15 to 20 minutes kind of thing. So started about 6, I think she said about 6:15, something like that, and I get off. I was able to actually, the person I was giving report to that night that come in the hospital to relieve me, he came in a little bit early, so I was able to give report to him a little bit early, and I just jetted right at 6:30. Usually it's a little closer to 7 whenever I leave, but I was able to leave a little bit early, and so it was 6:40 when I got home, something like that. Somewhere around 6:40, 6:45, and got home. She had done her rescue plan up until that point was, doing our extra dose of Keppra that we can do, and it's a nasal spray. It's kind of an Ativan nasal spray. It's called Valtoco, and she had done her Valtoco just before I got home. And so we thought, okay, let's give this just a little bit and see. And, so I sat down with her, gave the wife a time, a little bit of time to get away because it was hectic. And, it's always something that's a little taxing on her. And like I said in the last video, it is something that it doesn't affect me as much. Now, I was tired from being at work, but, whatever, I can deal with that. But so we went ahead and continued with the rescue plan and just watched, and we were there for a little bit, and the wife come in and she said, can my brother and sister-in-law come over? And I said, yeah, sure. Anna seems like she's doing okay, so send them on over, and we'll my wife has a hobby kind of thing, does different cups and stuff, does alcohol inks and does glitter cups and stuff like that. We even do a few. This is one of our shirts that I made. This is for my other channel, the 1776 Patriot. So looking at all of that, is neither here nor there, but my sister-in-law does alcohol ink cups as well. My wife kind of got her into that. And that's one of the things that she does. And they had one that had messed up on them, and we weren't really sure what it had done to mess up. She said, you just need to see it to kind of understand what happened. So they were coming over and brought it over. Well, just before they got there, Anna starts having seizures. They got there. We didn't even get to look at the cups that night. Looked at them the next day at some point. But Anna started having seizures again, timed them out. It was about 7.5 minutes. The first one that she had after I got there with her was probably about 10 seconds, 15 maybe. Started timing things out. It's about 7.5 minutes. She had another one again, 10, 15 seconds, something like that. So that kept on. So she called the neurologist, and they said, yeah, you probably just need to go on to the hospital, go on to the emergency room, or come down here, which we live about an hour and a half or so, hour and 45 minutes from the place where she goes for her seizure stuff, for her neurologist. So we didn't really want to do that. So I told my wife, I was like, well, just let's give her night meds, because I know the hospital is not going to have those. Who knows how long we're going to end up being there. So let's just give her night meds, and that way she'll be all set. And if things start to settle down, then we're good to go. So we got her night meds and stuff together, and I was giving her night meds. I had no more than pushed the flush for her G-tube after her meds. I'd give her all her meds, but had no more than pushed the flush. And she vomited all over me, everywhere. And it was, it's bad. There's a reason I'm a respiratory therapist, and that would be one of them. I don't, vomit is not one of my things. Even if it's my kids, I don't do well with that. But, it is what it is. So, brother-in-law and it's my brother-in-law, it's her brother. So anyway, brother and sister-in-law were there, and they helped kind of get things cleaned up. They kicked in and helped the wife get Anna cleaned up a little bit. I got in the shower. There was absolutely no way. Our two boys, absolutely awesome. Jonathan and David, they jumped in, Jonathan especially, and was helping to clean the couch up a little bit, mixed up some upholstery cleaner stuff and sprayed the couch and cleaned it a little bit. They missed an area or two here, so, you kind of smelled it the next day, and I went back and cleaned it again. But, hey, we were able to deal with Anna, take care of what we needed to with her, and get her to the hospital, and didn't have to worry about that. The boys took care of that. So I can't thank them enough for that. And, everybody, my brother helps one of the local race teams around here for Saturday night short track racing over at the local speedway. And he was actually there. And my wife had just sent him a message. We didn't figure he would get it. We figured he was probably busy with working on the car and stuff. And wife had sent him a message that said, "Hey, I won't be at church tomorrow probably. We're getting ready to take Anna to the hospital. She started having some seizures, and she's throwing up now." So long story short, he ends up responding back to me and wants to know how things are going and everything. And he had seen his message, just checking in. So it's great to have family that's around to help you whenever you need it, kind of thing. I mean, I can't say enough for the family helping out. And it is a wonderful thing to have. And anyway, long story short, we end up at the emergency room. The hospital staff was amazing. Cannot thank the hospital staff of Catawba Valley Medical Center enough. I am going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to say the name of the hospital. It was Catawba Valley Medical Center. The ER staff was absolutely amazing. Jackson, the CNA that checks us in. Gretchen, the nurse that triaged Anna and got us back. I used to work with her on night shift, so she knew exactly who I was when we would come in, and whenever she came in, we were there. But they took care of us very, very quickly, got us, right back. And since she was still seizing, still ongoing, she had another one just as we rolled in the parking lot of the hospital. So since the seizures were still ongoing, they got us right back, got us squared away, got us taken care of. Jackson kept coming back and checking on us until Gretchen could get in there with us. And Dr. James, the doctor that took care of her that night, absolutely amazing, fantastic man. I love Dr. James to death. I work with him in my current role. He's there on day shift and night shift kind of thing. So I work with him a lot. Absolutely love working with Dr. James. Could not have asked for a better physician taking care of her that night. So all around, it was a good situation. She was still vomiting, though. That was the bad part about it. They were able to give her some IV Keppra since she'd thrown up all of her night meds and stuff, we were able to give her a little bit heavier of a dose. And so gave her a little bit heavier dose of Keppra. That stopped the seizures, but we still were dealing with the vomiting. So he gave her some Zofran, and that seemed to do kind of that. But Anna was absolutely wiped out. Scariest part of it all, she lost the function in her right arm for a little bit, which he said, it's just the status after her seizure. It was basically just that it was some post seizure um, neurologic stuff that was making it where she could not use that arm. She did have her grasp. Anna is one that if you stick something in her hand, she's got that infantile grasp reflex. So if you stick something in her hand, she will grab onto it temporarily, if at least. So um, the nurse was wanting her to squeeze her hands and stuff, and I'm like, well, she don't really do that, but here is what she can do. And I cannot remember for the life of me. It was a newer nurse that was there, and I cannot for the life of me remember her name. But she was amazing too. She was absolutely awesome. Kept coming in and checking on us. They were slammed that night. There was a lot of stuff going on, but just absolutely amazing staff and everything. Couple of the nurses came around that knew me from working on night shift and checked on us to see how things were, just to poke their head in and say hey and everything. I was supposed to work the next day as well. I was supposed to work Sunday. And so we did not end up getting out of the hospital that night until probably around right at 3 o'clock. Dr. James was not going to let us go until he'd seen that she was seizure free and had not vomited for a couple of hours at least, and that things were going to settle down. So he had tried to call neurology at the hospital where we go to with that stuff, and they were apparently busy too. Couldn't get an answer back for several hours. He had tried to call them for several hours and couldn't get a hold of them. So he said, you're a healthcare professional. You kind of know what to look for. You know what to watch for and everything. I trust what you would do. So I feel comfortable sending you guys home at this point because she's been seizure free. And if they end up calling us back and say anything different, I'll call you and let you know. And then we can decide what to do from there. So that's what we ended up ultimately doing. And so Sunday, Anna slept all day long. We slept late Sunday because it was 3 o'clock in the morning before we got home, or a little after. Monday, Anna slept pretty much all day. We ended up running tube feed with her because, and again, that's why I say, tube feed is the G tube is a great thing, because we ended up running tube feeds with Anna because she wouldn't wake up enough to eat. She wasn't interested in eating even when she did, which I don't blame her. Even after I've been sick at times, eating is the last thing that's on your mind. So that is definitely something I can understand with that. But so Anna is back to her normal self now. I will say that. And it was an interesting adventure. Saturday night, Sunday morning. I went back to work yesterday, which was Monday, and great group of people, that I work with and everything too. They picked up and covered everything, and they had a bad day the day that I wasn't there, so Sunday as well, just because of a lot of different things going on. It wasn't necessarily because I wasn't there. It was just they had some difficult situations go on. It really is. It really does remind you. I guess I kind of jinxed myself making the video that I did previously, saying that Anna had been seizure free like that or had been fairly seizure free and hadn't had any clusters for a couple of years, because then we turn around and she has them. What they've attributed it to, though, is that she had a little GI bug. That's what they're saying that they believe was going on, because ultimately we ended up talking, and she had some loose diapers and stuff. Weren't extremely loose, but they were more than her usual, and they were a little more frequent than her usual. So We just thought we had her in a really good place with her milk and mag, and we're enjoying that at the moment. But they said, she's probably got a little bit of a stomach bug, and that was just enough to tip her over the edge with her seizure threshold, and kind of throw her into the bigger likelihood of having a seizure. So that was our weekend. This morning, Anna slept till Anna usually gets up somewhere between, I don't know, depending on what day it is and whether I'm working or not, somewhere between 6 o'clock and 8 or 9 o'clock kind of thing. Just depending on, how Anna's feeling and how early she went to sleep and how good she slept and everything. So this morning she slept a little later, but she was up in between her normal times. So we got up, I think it was around 8 o'clock or so, something like that. And she was her usual self, back to her usual jovial self. She ate a good breakfast. She drank a ton. Good Lord, and that was another thing, with her not, eating and drinking the previous day, then she wasn't having as many wet diapers as I would like. So I told my wife, I was like, we're going to have to watch that. So these are little things that we look for, just because we've been down this road before. So we were watching and dealing with that, and she ended up perking up. She had a really good wet diaper this morning, and then she's had several more through the day. So we know that her fluid intake is where it needs to be. Her kidneys are working good, and she's not getting dehydrated because she has really, really, really drank today. She's catching up for lost time. Now, the good thing also about the tube feeds and being able to do that is that the tube feeds have liquid in them. They have water in them. It's one of the larger ingredients that they have is water. So we are able to give her water just by giving her tube feeds. And there's another substance that we put in because we're trying to increase and boost her calories at this point. There's another substance that we put in called polycal, and it's just straight carbs. It's just straight carbohydrates and calories at this point. And so we've been putting some polycal in her tube feeds as we've been going, just to bolster the calorie count a little bit and make sure that she doesn't run low on that. But interesting week, guys. Interesting week. And my plan is to go ahead and make another video at some point this week, just so that I can get that out. But did want to give you guys a little update on kind of what had happened this weekend, because I kind of told you in the video, the little scroll chat at the bottom, that she had ended up having some seizures and that I'd do a follow-up. So I wanted to do a quick follow-up with that and let you guys know kind of where we were. But Anna's doing good. She's getting back to her normal self. She's been happy today. So we are doing okay with that, and we're glad that Anna is getting back to her normal self. So thanks for listening to this little talk on things and just kind of a little insight into our weekend, and I will see you guys in the next video of The Rhett Dad.